Hello friends, Melly Ponfajith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of SOAR Community Nebula. We are interviewing 1,000 champions of change. That is our goal this year. And today we have Kahila Hedayatzadeh. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this amazing journey with you.
I'm so grateful that I said your last name right.
Yes, you did great.
I really appreciate that. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience and let us know what good work you're doing in the world?
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me. My name is Kahila Hedayatzadeh. I am a trained psychotherapist and worked in the field, in the mental health field, for several years for nonprofits and for-profit organizations. And as much as I loved working with different populations, something wasn't really making me happy. I always say, if it doesn't make my heart sing, I can't fully commit to it. And I am the type of person that has to fully commit to everything that I do because really my heart governs me for my entire life. So, you know, I embarked on the journey of starting my own coaching practice, and I mainly work with women and really help them discover their own voice, stand in their powers, and really break through their mental and emotional blocks. Because I do believe that the future is women, and in order for us to really succeed in overcoming all of our barriers and odds in this world, we need to be able to really learn and love ourselves first in order to move forward and to expand and to grow in this world. So I absolutely love working with women, and it's been the most amazing experience I've had in the coaching and the therapy world so far.
All right, that's great. I would like for you now to share your personal experience, perhaps a story, an anecdote of a person or people in your life who have really shown you what it means to be a mindful, conscious, compassionate, empathetic leader or mentor, and how the experiences with them have shifted you in a profound way.
Absolutely. This one is an easy one for me because that person would be my mother. You know, to me, she exemplified true definition of a woman, a mother, and a warrior. And, you know, I really honestly became who I am more and more, and really pursued my mission and my purpose in life after losing her to cancer. She fought very hard for almost 5 years, and throughout the journey of being her full-time caregiver, and just watching her through the journey and watching her to continue to grow and want to heal other people while she's going through her journey, really taught me about what it means to give back and to be a strong woman. And also the way she raised me. One thing that I always say is that I feel so fortunate. I feel like one of the fortunate women to have had such a example in my life, because what my mom did was she really focused on my strengths and didn't look at things that normally could be looked at as a weakness or a flaw. She didn't look at it that way. So for example, I am a very determined person. Some might call me stubborn, but you know, for her, it was just, and I'm very strong-minded, and I've been like that since birth. The stories that she would tell me, and for her, it wasn't something that I needed to change. Instead, she really nurtured that and said, you know, as long as you're able to stand up for what you believe in and it's not harming anyone else, I want you to do it, and I want you to stand up for yourself. And so that really nurtured me into who I am today in my work with women, because I do believe that all of us do have a mission, we all have a purpose, and we all must have a voice. And it's my job now to pay that forward, because I had such a gift in my life who was in a form of my mom. And it's my job to pay it forward for other women to really define their strength instead of looking at things as their weakness.
Well, I'm very sorry for your loss, and
I'm
very grateful that you had a mother who has shaped you into the woman that you are today. So there's the blessing in that as well.
Absolutely.
When you think of a community champion and a community change agent,
Mm.
Are there attributes, personality traits that are consistent that come to mind that you witnessed in your life and you said, wow, there's a trend? Can you share what your thoughts are on that?
Absolutely. I think this person must be compassionate. They have to have empathy. And I think one of the most important things in this category is their willingness to grow and expand as an individual. And to also have the ability to accept people for who they are and for what their stories are. And like I said earlier, I am governed with my heart and with love. And this person has to really be able to lead with love and to allow love to be part of their journey, because one person that comes to mind as and I'm describing this is really Oprah. If you think about it, she is a woman who has stood in her own power, even though she's had a lot of backlash, and being an African American woman and having things that have always stood against her. She's always believed in herself and in her mission and her purpose. And she truly is someone who is willing to grow as a person so she can pay it forward. She can teach others what she's learned. And really, that's just one example of a human being. But a leader must be able to contain all those characteristics in order to really be successful. Because our world definitely needs someone who is able to be empathic and passionate and loving.
It's amazing too to think about these, well, not these, all human beings as also very capable of expanding and of doing the best that they can with what they have in that moment, with the knowledge that they have, and then be open to new ideas and new perspectives, and then have the opportunity to say, I didn't have all the information then, and I've evolved, and this is my new version of what's true to me. I think that's very important because every human being, all of us, whether we are have millions of followers like Miss Oprah, or whether we are sitting at home changing one person in our life day by day, it's very important that we are always growing and learning and having to not necessarily apologize, but be willing to say, oops, I thought I had the answers.
Right.
I didn't have all the answers.
Take ownership. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that. We don't all have to be Oprah, right? Like we can be a mom, right? We can be a teacher. We can be anything. We can even just for ourselves, our willingness to even look at ourselves in the mirror and say, oops, I didn't make the best decision in that moment, or, whatever the situation is, even say to yourself that I forgive myself for the mistake I made or for not knowing better. And from here on out, I will make better decisions based on my experience and my lessons that I've learned.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so now let's talk about the ways in which you give back, the ways in which you use your talents, your gifts, your life experiences, the good, the bad, and the not so great, to help either a cause or a movement forward. What are you currently doing in that realm?
So, great question. My goal in life is to reduce human suffering in whatever form that comes in. We all experience different pains and different things in life that really, I feel like we live in these emotional blocks. So for me, one of the first things that I do, I work with so that I do a couple of nonprofits, but one is I work with the cancer community and with the Shawnee Foundation, who focuses on childhood cancer, because obviously cancer was a big part of my life. And I noticed how there was missing links in between how there's different groups and things that offer support, but I feel like what is lacking is the sense of normalcy in the cancer community, of that it's okay, some of the things that you're experiencing, you're feeling is normal. You don't have to feel guilty and ashamed about that. And so and then also really helping the caregivers overcome some of the challenges that they have. So I've helped develop a mental wellness kind of center for this nonprofit. And it's been really successful. I have a podcast for them. It's called Cancer the Easy Life, which just really talks about, again, normalizing some of the things that people experience going through the cancer journey. And I also work with our friend, Oleg. I'm on the board of advisor with him, and his nonprofit is called Overcoming Odds. And he really focuses on helping individuals who are adoptees and in the foster care just kind of overcome some of their challenges. And it's something that's not very commonly talked about. And so it's very, very necessary in our community. And so I help him, go through those experiences and just kind of expand and figure out what else we can do to bring in more support and to really be able to create a larger voice for these individuals that need help. So those are two nonprofits. And then for myself, I just, my goal is to just keep on expanding my own voice so it can give power and a platform to other women to say, hey, if she can do it, having gone through all the life experiences that she's done, and she keeps on getting back up whenever life knocks her down, then I could do it too. So yeah, I just want to reduce human suffering. That's literally at the end of life. If I can lay down and say, I did my part to kind of reduce it a little bit, I will be a happy woman.
So powerful. Wow. Now, we have heard you talk about your mother. We've heard you talk about the beauty in that relationship and the pain of the loss of that relationship. Life is not easy. You are a therapist. You hear all kinds of amazing, extraordinary, miraculous things, and also very painful things that you can't even imagine happens in this world. When life is hard for you and you feel down and you feel like, I don't even want to get out of bed today, how do you find yourself back to center? Is there a philosophy or a motto or a quote that helps to move you forward?
I love that. So there's really two, to be honest with you. One that's really easy to remember, and it says there's always a reason to smile. And there's always a reason to smile, even when things are just so, so difficult. And like you said, we can't get out of bed, or we can't just get out of our own head, right, to really function for that day. And even if I don't want to get out of bed, I think of something that really brings me back to center, which is whether that's my family that makes me smile, or the fact that I'm even awake and breathing in that moment, and I'm healthy and I'm physically healthy, is that's a reason for me to smile. So just that smile kind of changes my my kind of space that I'm in. And then the other thing is the quote by Gary Zukav that I love. And it says, eventually you will come to understand that love heals everything, and love is all there is. And truly, honestly, if there wasn't love around me throughout my journey, and especially after losing my mom, I'm not sure if I would be the person that I am today. So it's reaching out to someone that loves you, or that you love in that moment, and just saying hi, or to just say, hey, I'm feeling kind of funky today. Just wanted to hear your voice, or just wanted to know that you're there. I was just reaching out. So those are the two things that really get me going. And, I feel it. If I'm feeling crummy in that day, I let myself feel it, because tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow is something that I can recreate. But today I may just need to feel.
A mentor of mine told me once that when you feel that way, and it feels maybe that it's coming out of left field, like you didn't have a bad experience, but you just got up, or it just hit you and you feel a little off. I learned from a mentor that just think of it as your body whispering that something is off center. And you don't have to figure out what it is. You just have to notice, and you have to know that something is off right now, and it's time for a pause.
I love that so much. And I love that you brought that part up. I talked to one of my clients this morning about, look, especially for women, we have hormones, we have, it's our body function, whatever it is, it's the energy, it's new moon, it's this and that, when you think of it, there's so many different energies in this world, in this universe. And yeah, we sit there and we blame ourselves for not knowing why we woke up in such a funky mood. it's really okay. You know, it's that blame part that I encourage everyone to really eliminate, because once that's gone, then you can just really stay centered and stay focused and just love yourself even more that day.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I really admire the work that you do, because therapy and counseling and support is really helping to rewire these old belief systems that have become so embedded. Our synapses are just like reshaped and reformed into believing that, especially women, but also men, that we're not allowed to feel off without a real good reason,
Right.
whatever that means. We're not allowed to feel weak and vulnerable. We got to keep going. We have to be superwoman all the time.
Mhm.
And it's really harmful, because that's why we all get sick. And then we, hit a wall, and we just like, when did this happen? Well, it's been happening all those years of you pushing aside what you said, right? Which is
Exactly.
feeling it and letting it be and saying it's okay. So I appreciate that you brought that up, because it's very important for us with all the mental health issues to talk about being okay if you're sad, if you're lonely, if you're feeling isolated, and
Absolutely.
to share that with other people.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. You know, another thing with that is what I do, and that's another reason why I kind of came out of the mental health field. And obviously, no offense to my colleagues or anything like that, but I don't like the labeling part in the mental health field. I don't like that I had to label people with depression and anxiety and other disorders because they were experiencing life. You know, a lot of times we tend to label ourselves when it's just you're going through an experience, you're going through a grieving period, you're going through a huge change in your life. And it's okay to not know answers, to not feel like yourself. Don't label yourself. Just really experience it, allow it to become something that comes to the surface, and just heal all the wounds that come with it. And yeah, our narrative, our inner dialogue is probably one of our worst enemies, because we tend to make up all these stories, especially us women. We are such storytellers in our head. It's like, please let go of that story. It is not serving you at all.
It's
So,
very, very true. Very true. Well, let me ask you one last question. And
sure.
this is something that I really love this question. I end it with every interview is, from your perspective, through your eyes, what would a better world look like?
Mm, God, that is an amazing question. And a bunch of thoughts just went through. Um, I really honestly would say a better world would look like men and women working together in unity. You know, even though I support women and I help them grow and discover their power and their voice, I'm not against men. I don't, you know, I think it's just the fact that we need to be able to heal ourselves as women in order to be able to stand right alongside a man in this world. And in whether that's in politics, whether that's in, you know, sciences, whatever it is, we need to be able to elevate ourselves mentally and emotionally to be able to really partake in the change, the positive changes that need to happen in this world. So I would say as soon as we can figure out how to coexist and actually work together in a very cohesive manner, I think our world will become so much better. There's no, we're all human beings. You know, just because one is a little bit stronger in emotional thinking and one's strong in logical thinking doesn't mean that we can't coexist together.
Yeah. I really appreciate your insights today and your time. One thing that I just love about what you said is helping women take care of themselves and evolve and really get to a place where they feel confident and strong. As much as women need that, it's so important for men to know that they need that as well.
Yes.
There are people out there that support men and help them feel a little bit more connected to who they're meant to be. We all, as human beings, gender, regardless of gender, have been taught to believe we have to operate a certain way. And I think that's really where we are now, with everyone being confused of, well, what's my role? And so the work that you do is very important to help us figure that out, because it's so individualistic, you know, it's not
Very.
necessarily based on gender. So thank you again. Thank you
Thank
so,
you
so
so
very
much. Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Yes. Well, thank you for continuing to do such great work. For
Thank
those that are watching, thank
you.
you so very much for being a part of the SOAR Community Network and also learning more about Nebula and our goal of bringing you more goodness and highlighting and featuring people who are really out there trying to create a better world. Please nominate yourself, nominate somebody in your community who's making a difference, and visit us at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.